Welcome to EPG Pathashala. I am Prof.G. Vedaparayana, retired from the Department of Philosophy, SV University, Tirupati. Today we are going to take up the lesson entitled Indian Religion and Philosophy, and the module that I am going to teach is Jainism. Jainism is one of the important systems of Indian philosophy, and it belongs to the unorthodox category of Indian philosophy, and it is unorthodox because it does not accept the authority of the Vedas. It is completely an independent system, dependent on the Tirthankaras of Jaina tradition, and the teachings of these Tirthankaras or these teachers are the basis for this religion. And this religion is also atheistic, not only unorthodox, it is atheistic in the sense that it doesn't believe in the existence of God. There is no need for God because human being can attain liberation or the Kevala Gnana by himself through the moral practices and also by having the knowledge about the reality of oneself and the reality of the world. So here it is not only metaphysics, not only epistemology, but morals and ethics also plays a very great role in this system called Jaina. Then the learning objectives of this lesson are origin and meaning of Jainism, the founder and the sources of Jainism, epistemology of Jainism, Jaina Metaphysics, Jaina ethics, bondage and liberation. So these are the objectives that we are going to consider under this lesson. So origin and the sources of Jainism are as follows. This is the product of 24 teachers, that are Tirthankaras. Tirthankaras means who have attained Kevala Gnana, and they are called the teachers of this school. Jainas adore the Tirthankaras and the liberated souls through their own effort. Tirthankaras are the perfect, omniscient and blissful beings. And Rishabhadeva is the first and Vardhamana is the last of these teachers. Vardhamana is also called Mahavira, which means the great hero. He lived in the 6th century BC during the time of Gautama Buddha himself. Jainism has a vast literature, mostly written in Prakrita. That is, this is the important part of my introduction that we have to bear in mind, that Tirthankara means a great hero, which means who has won over, who has conquered all passions and attained Kevala Gnana and became omniscient. Omniscient means man of highest knowledge and wisdom. So therefore, it should be remembered that Tirthankaras, 24 Tirthankaras are the teachers of this school, and Mahavira was the last Tirthankara, and he was a contemporary of Buddha in the 6th century BC itself. The meaning of Jaina, the word Jana or Jaina comes from Zina, which means the conqueror of all passions. All the 24 teachers of Jainism are Jinas in this sense. Charvaka and Buddhism does not accept the authority of the Vedas. Like Charvaka and Buddhism, this is also a system which doesn't accept the authority of Vedas. Atheistic religion, as I have told in the form of introduction, this is an atheistic, for it doesn't believe in the existence of God. It advocates that every spirit, Jiva, attains liberation of perfect knowledge, power and joy. And liberated saints are a testimony to truth that everyone can realize this perfection. So this is the basis for this philosophy, that everyone on his own effort, without the help of either the divine personality or the guru, one can attain perfection or omniscience knowledge on his own. So therefore there is no place for any kind of gurudom here. And even all the 24 Tirthankaras have strived hard to attain their liberation. So any other individual, any other soul, individual soul can practice morality and also can inquire into the nature of a jiva, mean oneself, and also into the world of reality, and then he can attain perfection. This is what we are going to see in the following lecture. So Jainism has been divided into sects. Now we are going to consider the various classes, or the main two classes of this religion or philosophy called Jaina philosophy. So Jaina religion is divided into Svetambaras and Digambaras. There is not much difference between these two. But Digambaras are most puritanic and rigorous. They are ascetics who gave up or who give up all possessions, including clothes, whereas Svetambaras are more accommodating to the common frailties, and they put on white clothes. So the very words are signifying that Digambaras means they don't even wear clothes. They are naked saints, and they are very perfect, very strict in their practice of morality, in the sense that they do not want to cause any harm even to a single insect. Even if they want to wear clothes, production of clothes also involves some kind of violence. So therefore, they don't want to even wear clothes. Whereas Svetambaras are those who are little bit liberal in their approach to morality, in the sense that they wear white clothes, nothing else, in order to be, ascetics. So this is a philosophy of common sense realism and pluralism, and the objects perceived are real and they are many. World consists of living and non-living beings or non-living realities. Living beings have spirits or souls, which is called jiva, and non-injury is the central principle of Jaina ethics. Respect for others' opinion. Reality is many-sided, and every judgment is subject to some conditions. So this is another important aspect of this philosophy, that it is a relativistic system, and also it gives importance to others' opinion. It doesn't accept the thesis that what I say alone is true, or there is something called all abiding truth. No, whatever is said by the other is correct in its own conditions. Depending on the conditions, every statement or every judgment is relatively true. Therefore, it is a relativistic, a realistic and pluralistic system. This is Jaina. So Jaina epistemology, it accepts two kinds of knowledge, namely immediate and mediate. Immediate is paroksha, mediate is aparoksha. And perception of external and internal objects through the senses or the mind is also immediate knowledge. Immediate knowledge is of two kinds. That is empirical. In Sanskrit it is called Vyavaharika, that is known by the senses. Transempirical is Paramarthika, that is soul attains removing the obstacles of karma. The three kinds of immediate knowledge. The first is the knowledge of the gross objects. They are minute and are at a far off distance. Second is the knowledge of the present and the other minds, obtainable by a person who has overcome passions like hatred, jealousy and all that. Third is the omniscience, that is Kevala Gnana, the absolute knowledge, which is possible only for the liberated souls, and they obtain this kind of knowledge when all the obstacles to such knowledge are removed. And there are three kinds of perception, or extraordinary type of perception. And these extraordinary types of perception are, one is clairvoyance, and another is telepathy, and another is omniscience. See, the knowledge that people attain through clairvoyance is that they can see, or they can know, they can have the knowledge of things that are far off at a distance. And the knowledge through telepathy is knowing the minds of the other people. I can understand what is there in the mind of the other person. That is telepathy. And a third kind of immediate knowledge is the knowledge that a saint or a Jina attains by overcoming all passions, by following the path of perfection. These are the three types of immediate knowledge. And the two kinds of ordinary perception. One is obtained through senses or through the mind. Second is obtained from the authority, that is Shruta and Mati. So knowledge obtained through Mati and Shruta are not absolutely free from error. Only the two highest kinds of immediate extrasensory knowledge is beyond error. Direct access to the present, the knowledge of the other minds, and the knowledge of the soul is beyond error. That is what I have just now explaining, that only omniscient knowledge, that is third kind of immediate knowledge, is free from error. All other kinds of immediate knowledge or mediate knowledge are subject to error. What is meant by knowledge through Mati? Knowledge through Mati means knowledge obtained by thinking, or by conception, or by reasoning. So this is what is meant by the mediate knowledge through Mati, which means through the mind. What is the activity of the mind? It conceives, it infers, it rationalizes, it thinks. Then it derives knowledge. And another is Shruta or Shruti, which means the mediate knowledge that is derived through the words of others, or the written word or heard word. So therefore, these two kinds of mediate knowledge are susceptible to error, because it involves the factors called time and space. Wherever there is the medium of time and space, that kind of knowledge is subject to error. And even the telepathic and clairvoyant means of immediate perception, they are also subject to error, because they also involve time and space. They are limited by the factors called time and space. So only the immediate knowledge called the omniscience is completely free from error. So therefore, depending on these two types of knowledge, that is immediate knowledge and mediate knowledge, three kinds of immediate knowledge and two kinds of mediate knowledge, that's now we have elaborated, we can say that the Jaina system is accepting three kinds of pramanas. What are the three kinds of pramanas? One is perception, another is inference, another is verbal testimony. So perceptive knowledge is subject to error, inferential knowledge is subject to error, and verbal testimony, knowledge through verbal testimony is also subject to error. And beyond these, there is another kind of means of perception, or This omniscient type of perception that doesn't involve time and space. Therefore, that is beyond these three sources of knowledge. So that is direct perception or direct understanding. Now we are going to say something more about the pratyaksha or perception, the means of perception. Every judgment is relatively valid. Different kinds of immediate knowledge and mediate knowledge of objects with innumerable characteristics. Omniscient being obtains kevala gnana or immediate knowledge object in all its aspects. Imperfect being can look at an object from one particular point of view at a time, and they have the knowledge of only one aspect of the object. Ordinary person can have only partial knowledge of things, which is called naya. Naya is the judgment or paramarsha based on the partial knowledge. So, epistemologically speaking, Jainism is proposing a kind of theory that nobody can have complete knowledge about anything. Only the perfect soul who has attained liberation, he alone can have the complete knowledge of an object. But every other person, ordinary person, even though he is highly intellectual, highly knowledgeable, can have only partial knowledge about the objects. So every judgment is relatively true. This is the thesis that they put forward in their epistemology. Every judgment is relatively true. Judgment in daily life are not absolutely and unconditionally true. No scope for disagreement and quarrel about the truth of our judgments. So blind people form their ideas of elephant by touching either trunk, ear or legs or tail. So they quarrel on the real form of the elephant because nobody has seen what the whole elephant is. Each one thinks that his knowledge alone is true and complete about the elephant. The systems of philosophy are of different accounts of the many-sided universe. So different views are true, like the different descriptions of element by the blind man. So this is what we have to understand from the points I have just now elaborated, that philosophy should not quarrel that each one is complete or each one is true by itself. All philosophies are true relatively. No absolute theory is completely true. There is no absolute theory at all. It is only relatively true. Take, for example, if we ask blind people how the elephant looks like, what can a blind man do? Blind man goes and touches the elephant. If he touches the tail, he may say that elephant is like a tail. If he touches ears, he may say that elephant is like a fan. If he touches a leg, elephant is like a pillar. So each person says the partial experience about the elephant. But we cannot reject that the blind person's judgment that elephant is like a trunk, that elephant is like a fan, that elephant is like a tail, they are partially true. We have to accept, yes, there is something like tail in the elephant, something like fan, like ears in the elephant. So they are also partially correct or relatively true. So we have to take the judgment of every person as valid to some extent, valid depending on some conditions. So this is the famous theory of Jaina epistemology, that they accommodate the opinion of everybody. There must be some truth in the statement made by even a child. or even a very ignorant man, even a person who is blind or dumb. So this is technically known as this theory that accommodating everything, every judgment, is known as Shadvada. Shadvada means judgment should be qualified by the term somehow or in some respects. So Shadvada is a theory which says that every judgment or naya in Sanskrit is correct. Therefore, we cannot say the judgment without some conditions. So we have to qualify every judgment with the term somehow or in some respect, which means shat. For instance, if I say the jug exists, I cannot say just jug exists. I must say somehow the jug exists. If I want to say jug does not exist, I must say somehow the jug does not exist. So former reminds us the fact that it is true only with regard to many conditions. Somehow prevents the possibility of misapprehension that jar always exists. So unqualified judgments like the jug exists leads to misapprehension of the jug in absolute terms. Judgment of ordinary people holds good only of a particular aspect of the object. Shadvada makes Jaina thinkers Catholic in their outlook, and philosophies are different possible versions of the universe from different points of view. It rejects, that is, Epistemology of Jainism rejects dogmatic claims, for they lead to the fallacy of exclusive predication, that is Ekantavada. What do you mean by Ekantavada? Ekantavada means my Vada alone is true. This is not correct according to Jaina philosophy. No philosophy, either latest or ancient, any philosophy cannot claim that my philosophy alone is true. This is Ekantavada, should not be accepted. Only Anekantavada or Shadvada should be accepted, in the sense that every philosophy or every opinion, every judgment is true depending on certain conditions. So this is another theory in epistemology of Jainism that we are going to see, that is Saptabhangi Naya. Depending on Shadvada, they have propounded another theory called Saptabhangi Naya. Saptabhangi Naya, let us see what it means. Jaina logicians distinguish between 7 kinds of judgment. Sapta means 7. Bhangi means varieties. Naya means judgments. All the 7 are qualified with the prefix somehow. For example, somehow the jug is in the room. Somehow the jug is not outside the room. Somehow the jug is in the room and also not in the room. Somehow the jug or jar is indescribable. This is the 4th Naya. The 5th is somehow the jug is in the room, but it is also somehow indescribable. The 6th one is somehow the jug is not in the room and it is also indescribable. 7th and last statement or judgment should be like this. Somehow jug is in the room and also is not in the room, and also it is indescribable too. It is not skeptic or agnostic, but realistic, subscribing to realistic view of truth. See what is happening in this Saptabhangi Naya. In Saptabhangi Naya, there are 7 statements. The first statement is, we are saying in the positive terms, that is, jar or jug is in the room. The second statement is, jar is not in the room. For every statement we are adding somehow jug is in the room. Somehow the jug is not in the room. Somehow the jug is both in the room or not in the room. And fourth one is the jug is indescribable. The jar or jug, the existence of it is indescribable. And the fifth one, the fifth judgment is made by combining the fourth and the first. That is, the jug is in the room and also it is indescribable. And the fifth one is combination of the second judgment and the fourth judgment, which means jug is not in the room and indescribable. And sixth one is the combination of third and fourth. That is, jug is in the room, not in the room and indescribable. And seventh is adding one more condition, somehow the jug is in the room, not in the room and also indescribable. So somehow the jug is in the room and also not in the room and is indescribable. Sixth one, let us say again, somehow the jug is not in the room and is also indescribable. So this is how we have to understand the 7 statements, how they are created. And another important thing that we have to make note is, even though these statements are not absolutely true, we should not think that the Jaina thinkers are skeptical. Skeptical means they doubt everything. I mean, a skeptic is one who doubts everything and who doesn't believe in the certain knowledge, in the knowledge which is complete. No, these people are not really skeptical to the core. They are only saying that we have to give a provisional importance to every statement. Not that we doubt every statement, but we only accept every statement on some conditions. Okay, somehow your statement is also true. That is like that. We can't say skeptically, no, your statement is wrong. So they are realistic and they are pluralistic also. Why it is pluralistic? It is accepting all kinds of the knowledge statements, all kinds of theories and all kinds of knowing. So this is a pluralistic school. Then, we have already seen that where does this inference come? Inference comes when we are dealing with Mati and Shruti. Knowledge obtained through mind or reason. Knowledge may be ordinary, or immediate. This knowledge based on perception and verbal testimony, it is not free from error. We have already examined this thing. And our verbal testimony or authority of the Shruta, the knowledge obtained from what is heard or spoken. It is based on perception, of sounds or written letters. It is not free from chances of error. Even Shruta or Shruti is liable to error. So after having examined the means of perception, inference, verbal testimony, and also how the 7 kinds of judgments are there in Jaina epistemology and how they are not skeptical but they are relativistic, we have to now go to another important aspect of Jaina philosophy, that is the metaphysics of Jaina or Jaina Metaphysics. In this section, we are going to see what they say about the reality. What is the nature of reality? Epistemology is dealing with the nature of knowledge. What is knowledge? What is true knowledge? What is false knowledge? What are the means or sources of knowledge? That is epistemology. Now we are coming to metaphysics. Metaphysics deals with the nature of reality, not the nature of knowledge. What reality itself means. Is it a substance or is it a quality? So inquiring into this aspect is called metaphysics. And the metaphysics of Jaina is known by the famous theory called Anekantavada. Metaphysics is the theory of reality, that is, every object has an innumerable characteristics, negative and positive. So this is the first important statement regarding the reality that Jainas are making, that every object has an innumerable characteristics, that is Ananta Dharmakam Vastu. Ananta Dharmakam Vastu, which means Vastu means object. Ananta Dharmakam means it has infinite number of qualities. We cannot know all those qualities. Only Kevala Gnani, realized soul alone, can know all these characteristics. And these characteristics may be negative or positive. Then object takes on new characteristics also with the change of time. And our knowledge of it is never complete or perfect. Jaina thinkers hold that one who knows one object fully knows everything. Omniscient person who can have such complete knowledge of an object. Only omniscient person. For all practical purposes, that is Vyavahara, partial knowledge is sufficient. So this is what these people are saying, that substance or an object has infinite number of characteristics, and these characteristics are not constant. They are infinite and also they are changing. One characteristic may be there in the object today, and that characteristic may not be there tomorrow. Depending on the conditions, the objects acquire qualities, and after these conditions are changed, that quality may also change in the object. But there may be some essential qualities, there may be some accidental qualities, not essential qualities. So another important thing that we have to bear in mind is, according to Jaina Metaphysics, if one knows one object fully, if one knows all the characteristics of object, then he knows everything about this universe, which is possible only for extraordinary people. But ordinary people can never know all the characteristics of an object, can never have the full knowledge of an object, and therefore he cannot understand the entire universe. Only, partial knowledge is sufficient for ordinary people, because they are capable of incomplete knowledge, and that incomplete knowledge is sufficient for our daily life. We need not go for omniscient knowledge. So that is why they say, for ordinary people, commonsensical people, they can be rest satisfied with only incomplete knowledge. Then some more points about the conception of substance or an object. So substance means dravya, is that which possesses the characteristics or dharmi. Dharma and dharmi, or dravya, which I have called dharmi. Dharmi means it possesses the characteristics. And two kinds of characteristics, that is essential and accidental. The essential characteristics remain unchanged in the substance as long as it exists. And without these characteristics, the substance ceases to be what it is. Consciousness, for instance, is an essential characteristics of the soul. Jainas call the essential characters as qualities. See, this is another important distinction that they have made. Qualities are essential characteristics, and the other type of characteristics are not essential. For example, if you take soul, consciousness is the essential characteristic of the soul. Consciousness will always be there for soul, and it may have other accidental characteristics, or even if we take some kind of substance or immaterial, material object. Material object has extension as the essential characteristic, or the quality of the quality of the substance. And we take color. It's an only accidental characteristic. Color may be differing from time to time. It may be white in color, it may be black in color, but material object always occupies some space. So that is extension. That is the essential characteristics or quality of the object. And accidental characteristics of a substance, they come and go, they succeed one another. Desires, volitions, pleasures, pain and so on are accidental characters or characteristics of the soul. Through these characteristics, soul substance undergoes modification. Jaina also call these characteristics as modes. They are paryayas. And substance possesses qualities as well as modes. Substance possesses these two. That is essential characteristic, that is qualities, gunas, and modes also. The world is composed of substances of different kinds, and the essential characteristics of the ultimate substance are abiding. Or abiding means they are always there. So substance is real, that is sat, and consists of three factors, namely permanence, origination and decay. And there are two kinds of substances, extended and non-extended, and time is the only substance which is without extension. As I said, substances have extension, but time doesn't have extension. Substances possessing extension are called astikayas rather, because they possess a body. Substances are divided into two kinds again, namely living and non-living, jiva and ajiva. And living substances has souls, and they are also two kinds, that is emancipated or in bondage. The souls in bondage are of two kinds again, movable and immovable. So emancipated souls and movable souls, immovable souls are souls that are bound. So they mean even soul is a substance. What kind of substance is soul? It is immaterial substance. It does not exist as the things exist. So this is the characteristics or the nature of the soul. Now we come to the another important aspect of Jaina philosophy, that is ethics, bondage and liberation. So according to Jaina ethics, there are three virtues, that is right faith and right knowledge and right conduct. So they call these three as three ratnas, three jewels. Why they are calling? Without these three important virtues, no person can attain liberation. First, he must have right faith, that is samyak darshana, that is attitude of respect for truth. Then right knowledge means samyak jnana, which means detailed cognition of the real nature of the ego and non-ego. And it should be, and this right knowledge should be free from doubt and uncertainty. Then is right conduct, that is samyak charita, which means refraining from what is harmful and doing what is beneficial for the liberation of oneself. So these are called three ratnas or three jewels, without which no person can start on the path of liberation. Then apart from these three great woes, now we have five great woes, that is Pancha Mahavratas, great woes, that are five in number: Ahimsa, Satya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha and Asteya. Which means, Ahimsa means abstinence from injury to life, and Satya means abstinence from falsehood. Brahmacharya means abstinence from self-indulgence. Aparigraha means abstinence from stealing. Asteya means abstinence from all attachments. So these are the 5 very important vows, great vows. With vows means you have to take a decision that you always practice this 5 vows, that you will not steal things, that you will never speak lies, that you will never hurt other beings, and you never involve in self-indulgence. Self-indulgence means in indulging yourself in pleasures always. Because if you indulge in pleasure, there will be no seriousness for seeking a liberation. And also, you should not take things without anybody giving it. Even if somebody gives it, you have to reject it, because possessing things leads to bondage. You should not possess things at all. So these are the 5 great vows that one should follow, apart from the 3 jewels we have seen. Now there are 5 small vows. These are called anuvratas. What are they? These are the 5 great vows followed by the laity. They are the modified and diluted, not puritanical and rigid. Brahmacharya, according to anuvratas, or 5 small vows, Brahmacharya is restricted to only chastity, and aparigraha is restricted to only contentment, not meant for the monks. Which means the 5 anuvratas are not different from 5 major vratas, but the 5, when these 5 are followed by the common man, they are called anuvratas. When the 5 are followed by the monks, they are called mahavratas. Maha here means rigorous, strict. If you have to practice mahavratas, you have to follow them very strictly. And if you just take some lenience in following it without so much of rigor, then they are called anuvratas. So anuvratas are nothing but mahavratas practiced by the laity. Laity means common people, or a householder, or a gruhastha. And they are not so rigid in the case of the common people as it is in the case of the monks. Then what is bondage? Bondage, according to Jaina, is the state where the karmic particles infiltrate into the soul. Bondage also means the union of the soul with the body, and karma is the link which unites them. Them means body and soul. There are 4 passions which bind the body to the soul. What are those 4 passions? They are anger, greed, pride, and delusion. In Sanskrit, they are called Krodha, Lobha, Moha, and Maya. These are the sticky substances. Sticky substances, in Sanskrit, they are called Kashaya, where the karmic particles are stored. So these substances attract the flow of karmic matter towards the soul. So unless one overcomes these 4 passions or 4 emotions, Raga, Dvesha, Lobha, Moha, which it can be said in different ways. So these are the 4 important factors or emotions that are responsible for binding the body with the soul, or soul with the body. One should not be angry, one should not hate others, one should not be in deception, one should not fall into Maya, and also one should not think of harming others, and one should not be greedy also. So greed anger, delusion and other other moha are responsible for bondage. There are two types of bondage according to Jaina philosophy, that is ideal bondage and the material bondage. What is the ideal bondage? In Sanskrit it is called bhava bandha, and it takes place when the soul has bad dispositions. What are bad dispositions? I mean bad state of mind. Disposition means state of mind. And material bondage is dravya bandha. It takes place with the influx of karma into soul. State of ignorance which conceals the truth of the soul. That is, bondage is ignorance. As all the systems of Indian philosophy, Jaina also says ignorance is the main cause of bondage, of suffering. Why? Ignorance means concealing the true nature of the soul. What is the true nature of the soul? True nature of the soul is being free, liberated, having pure consciousness, not mixed with karmic matters. It is not subjected to karmic matters responsible for bondage in the state of liberation. So liberation means then bondage we have seen. Now we see what is liberation according to Jaina philosophy. So liberation means attaining the fourfold perfection. That is Ananta Chatushtaya. Ananta Chatushtaya. That is infinite knowledge, infinite faith, infinite power and infinite bliss. Attainment of four perfection is called omniscience. One who is omniscient is called a Kevalin. So these are the four means or four marks of a liberated person. They are infinite knowledge and infinite power, infinite bliss and infinite faith. These are the four things. And Kevala Gnana means attaining these four infinite perfections. Infinite means Ananta. And the one who has attained liberation is called a Kevalin. A Kevalin is one who is omniscient and he is all powerful, he is all knowledgeable and he is all pervading. In this sense, he can see everything. He can have the knowledge of the entire world, of every object, of every other human being. So what should the seeker do apart from following the four Mahavratas and four Anuvratas and three jewels? He has to observe other activities in order to attain liberation. That is, the seeker should strive for the practice of the three virtues, five great vows, and he has stopped the influx of the new karmas into the soul. So if we practice the practice of virtues, that is great vows, what happens is it stops the influx of new karmas into the soul and overcoming all passions of karmas, old and new. So this takes place after following the infinite knowledge and infinite faith and infinite other two kinds of infinite perfections. A liberated soul transcends the cycle of birth and death. This is, as usual, it is said in Indian philosophy that samsara is bondage and liberation is overcoming samsara. And the liberated person goes straight to the top of the world, that is Siddha Sthita. He dwells in the eternal knowledge and bliss. So as a part of concluding remarks or summary, we can say that this is an unorthodox system, as I said in the introduction. This is also a theist system, and this is a system which is based on metaphysics, epistemology, and morals. And also, this is a philosophy or a religion which has, changed the attitude of the people who believed in some, supernatural and superstitious things, and overcoming the practices of yagnas and yagas, and depending only on one's own effort to become, liberated soul. And another important virtue or quality of Jaina philosophy, it is pluralistic, it is realistic, and it is relativistic. Why it is relativistic? It accepts all kinds of knowledge as true depending on certain conditions. And why it is realistic? It accepts the reality of all objects, all qualities. They are real to the extent that they survive. And why it is pluralistic is, it is not absolutistic in the sense that there is only one reality apart from all others, even though they accept that the soul is the omniscient state of mind which is of pure consciousness. And there is one sort of criticism against the Jaina philosophy, that is, how can they propound the pluralistic philosophy without taking some kind of absolutistic stand? If they propose a theory of relativity, relativistic reality, relativistic reality is no reality at all. So therefore, it suffers from the the defect that this philosophy cannot be taken as absolutely correct. So therefore, there is a place for absolutism in Jainism also. It is depending on the kind of absolutistic substance, absolutistic liberation, that they are propounding the theory of relativity. So this is the one criticism that has been leveled against Jaina philosophy. Thank you very much.